Now we're to the main event of the day. The governor candidates are going to speak 5 minutes each. We'll get it started with Battle and Dawson and Hightower and Ivey in that order. And as soon as one is finished, the other one needs to be prepared to come up here or be here ready to start talking, so we don't waste a lot of time. And I'll just sit down and we'll start with Mayor Tommy Battle.
Thank you, Albert, and to everybody, especially those at the front table, welcome to Huntsville. We're so glad to have you here and glad to have you back in our area. This is a town that I've had the honor of being mayor of for the past 10 years. This is my church right here. And as they say, when it gets hot in church, it gets time to start preaching. This is a great day. 10 years ago, we started this journey, and we started it together. I started with your support. And with your support, we started on building a city and making a city that was super successful, that was ready to move forward and ready to move forward into the future. We took on education, and each one of you were part of that group. We took on education, we improved education. We took on roads, and each part of you were part of that group, and you're still part of that group. Just driving by those orange cones every day, but right now we are fixing roads and we are building new roads. We have brought in jobs. Polaris, Remington, Blue Origin, Remington, Airjet Rocketdyne, Toyota Mazda. We have brought in new jobs, and we have brought in 24,000 jobs. 24,000 jobs means that people have opportunity in this community. 24,000 jobs means that people who, maybe you have a job, you have a chance for a better job. 24,000 young people who live in this community can say, I'm going to stay in this community and exercise that opportunity and be part of the workforce here. I'm going to raise a family, put a roof over my head, put food on the table. 24,000 people in this area we've been able to do that with. And it's all because of you. Your help, your guidance, your support. We've been able to do this and do that in this community. We want to start a new journey today. That new journey is taking on the whole state of Alabama, and let's do for the whole state of Alabama what we've done here. And I need your support again. We'll take on roads and improve roads. If anybody's been on I-65 lately and been over from 305 to 280, you know what I'm talking about. If you've been on the stoppage on I-565, you know that we've got to do something before 2042. Because if we start construction in 2042, it'll be 2052 by the time it gets finished. I'm not sure I'm going to be here. But we've got to take that journey with this state. We've got to have the vision to get ahead of these problems, to get ahead of things that are problems today and offer solutions. We've got to improve education across this state, and that's a journey that we've taken together. We want to take it together again and take on the whole state and improve education. And as we do it, we're going to add jobs, we're going to add opportunity. If we did the same thing in all 7 congressional districts that we did in the city of Huntsville, we'd add 168,000 jobs. We'd have $28 billion of investment in this state. That is key for every one of us, that we would offer 168,000 people a chance to examine that opportunity, to take a job, to be part of a community, to raise their family, put a roof over their head, put food on the table. Let's start that journey together. On June 5th, I'm going to ask you for your vote, because we're going to start that second journey together. Over 10 years, we've had great success. Over the next 8 years, we will be a great success for the state of Alabama. We will make this state a better place. Thank you.
Good morning, Tommy. That was a great speech. I know that there's a battle going on. I just didn't know there was a battle for signage placement in this room. My gosh, there is all kinds of signs in here. My name is Scott Dawson. I am running for governor of the state of Alabama. We understand 5 minutes, what can you say? Basically, 2 years ago, I was in your position. I'd come to these type of events. I'd want to know some stuff about the candidates. First of all, who are they? Who are they? And to me, my name is Scott. Grew up in Inslee, just west of Birmingham. Married my childhood sweetheart, Tara, which is sitting right over here. She's from Midfield. You may wonder what type of governor I'll be, but if elected, you'll have a phenomenal first lady. I went to Stanford University, got my master's at Beeson Divinity School. Been in the ministry lane for the last 30 years. Been kind of like a Billy Graham style ministry, but much smaller. And so that's who we are. We have 2 kids. We have one who's just graduated from college and just got engaged. Our daughter is a freshman in college. So with 2 kids in college, an upcoming wedding, you know what that means? I'm broke. But anyway, as we're running for governor, I know the second thing you always want to know is, what are you going to do? If you're elected, what are you going to stand for? And to me, I think if you go to our website, scottdawson.com, there's a lot of platforms there. But real quickly, first of all, we do need to have an ethics reform of just living within ethics. Whenever there's a question, there shouldn't be a question. We should live transparently before the people of Alabama. Second of all, with education, we should make sure that every child, by the time he or she gets to 3rd grade, they're reading, writing, and doing correct arithmetic. I was the one who tweeted, it's time to get rid of Common Core and bring back common sense to the state of Alabama. And with that, what we would have are mentors in the classroom. If you're from 1st to 3rd grade, we have a huge army of volunteers right now that through proper adult supervision and a background check, you will be in the classroom as the teacher is teaching. If a child is coming down from their sight words and they can't understand it, they're getting behind in their addition or their subtraction, you're there helping these young minds. That alone, if we can guarantee every child is reading, writing, and doing correct arithmetic, it will change the future of our state. Not only with that, let's get into the economy. Everybody's going to talk about jobs. Well, to me, that's part of the role of being part of a team to launch a dream. There's a great group of people that can recruit jobs and industry to this state. But when I was sitting with a CEO in Birmingham around his boardroom table, he joked with me. He said, Scott, every month we joke about moving our business over to Georgia so Alabama will come and recruit us and give us the incentives they're giving everyone else they're trying to recruit to Alabama. I thought that's an unfair playing field. Do we need to recruit? Yes. But as my son played sports, you know where I found the power? The power is in the balance. It shouldn't be either or. It should be both and. We recruit business, but we have to set Alabama businesses free. It's not a tax issue here. We're a low tax state. What we want to do is get rid of the unnecessary regulations and the fees that are piled on top of Alabama businesses. Why would we not incentivize you as Alabama business owners to expand and increase and export our goods and services? Because you know what you do compared to everyone else we recruit here? You pay Alabama taxes. That would set our economy on fire. The third question I would always want to know is, what's your chance? Are you going to be able to win? We know what you're going to do. We know who you are, but can you win? Already being endorsed by Rick and Bubba. In fact, Rick Burgess will say, I don't endorse Scott, I vouch for Scott. I've been mentored by former Governor Mike Huckabee, and our largest supporter to date is David and Barbara Green, who own Hobby Lobby, who have been friends for the last 15, 17, 18 years. And over dinner, David Green looked at me and said, I'm very concerned about what's happening in politics. Don't forget, we almost lost our business because Christians were leaving government. I know I'm the outsider. I know I'm the one who will stand up here and say we have no political experience. But ladies and gentlemen, you took a chance in 2016 when all of America cast their vote for President Trump. And I think we'd all agree he's doing a pretty good job. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here this morning.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bill Hightower, and I'm running for governor. A little about my background, because oftentimes you can tell the trajectory of someone based on where they've been. I'm from Mobile. I've lived in Mobile. Actually, though, before that, I worked for Fortune 500 companies that took me around the world. And in those companies, they taught me how to go into large organizations, turn things around, and make it better. Companies whose budgets are the size of the state of Alabama government. But I so appreciate that experience level in my 38 years of marriage with Susan, who's gone around the world with me down here on front. We moved back to Mobile, and we moved back because we loved Alabama, because the Alabama culture of faith and family really changed our children's lives. And we knew it because we grew up in it. But those companies taught me some valuable lessons. And one day I decided to run for state senate. I've been a state senator for 5 years. Now, I am not running for state senate. I'm running for governor. What struck me was as I sat in the state senate and I was about to go back to my job and leave the senate altogether, is that we've had a dermatologist as a governor, we've had a lawyer as a governor, but we have not had a businessman. And that's when I thought I can make a difference. After talking to a few governors that I do know, Matt Bevin in Kentucky and David Beasley in South Carolina, I was encouraged to try to make a difference, like many of you are doing in the community. So what have I done while I've been in the Senate? I've tried to reform our budgetary process. You know we have a 93% earmarked budget. The federal government's 70% earmarked. The next state earmarked is Michigan at 63%. Nobody's looking at Alabama and saying, hey, that's the way to do it. And because of all those entitlements, you've got waste, and at the same time, the career politicians want to pass another tax and put another tax on you. See, I want to do it the other way around. My business instincts tell me you go and you find the waste, you find the fraud, you clean it up, then you can be honest about going and saying, what do we do about revenue? And when we find that waste, we'll be able to put it on education. We need resources in education. Our state troopers are way underfunded. Now, I did forget to mention that early on, I joined the Republican Party in the Mobile County. I'm part of their executive committee. I'm also a part of the state executive committee. And because you know that, you'll know that if any place is vacated, I'm going to appoint a Republican to go into a county or city government. And these conservative principles that come from the Republican Party are the things I've applied in the state Senate. I've also passed a bill making it illegal to sell baby body parts. I've passed a resolution condemning Doug Jones for his vote against the pain-capable abortion bill, which would have said babies feel pain at 20 weeks. What are we doing aborting them? Let that sink in. That's a reasonable approach. I've also went for term limits. I brought a bill to the Senate floor on term limits. Ladies and gentlemen, people ask me, Bill, what's your ethics plan? Term limits. Everybody that's been indicted has been there, a career politician, they've been there a long, long time. You want to change Montgomery? You ask your legislators, will they support term limits? It's one of the only constitutional offices in Montgomery that doesn't have a term limit. Isn't that amazing? These things are the things that are important to me. I didn't just dream these up. I've also passed a bill confirming the religious liberty of our faith-based adoption agencies. 30% of our adoptions are handled by these faith-based adoption agencies, and if we don't have them, DHR can't handle the others more than 70%. If you've had interaction with DHR, they're struggling to even do what they're called to do right now. I'm also the only senator that passed $1 billion road and bridge program without raising your taxes. It would have changed the whole Huntsville area. But it went down to the House, and special interests shut it down because they want to pass a tax. They'd rather tax you than use the $1 billion BP settlement funds to solve a long-term problem. Instead, they used it to plug a budget hole. So what I want to do in the future, I want to set up a road and bridge commission so that we have a 10 to 15-year plan, and we execute that plan. I want to make adoptions easy and low cost, so families that want to adopt, they can. We have an orphan crisis here. I want to sell all the state lands. You wouldn't believe the amount of assets the state has. I want to sell it and create a fund to fund infrastructure. I also want to bring certification programs into the high school to change the future of our youth. That's all I have time for. I'm Bill Hightower, BillHightower.com. See my 12 steps to change the future of Alabama. And please vote for me on June 5th. Thank you very much.
Good morning, y'all. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for being here. And I'm especially glad to be here in front of you today to participate with you as the 54th governor of the great state of Alabama. And as I travel across our great state, I am so thrilled to be able to tell our people that Alabama is working again. As governor, it's my job to be sure that we have opportunities for good jobs for our people to earn a well-deserved paycheck. And more people are employed today than have been ever before. We have the lowest unemployment rate in our state's history. Since I've been governor, we've announced more than $6 billion in direct private investments to bring on board some 13,000 new jobs. Folks are working, and that's a good thing. We have global companies looking at Alabama and landing in Alabama. Airbus, Boeing, Google, Honda, Mercedes, and then more recently, Toyota Mazda with another 4,000 jobs. People are working, and this is a good thing. In addition to all that good news, I've also signed into law the largest middle-class tax cut in a decade. But with all that good news, I assure you, I'm not done. More work to do, and I'm proud to do it. When these companies come into Alabama, they need to be able to employ the people who live here. And that will only happen when we make sure that our people have the education they need and deserve. As your governor, I'll admit I have spent a major portion of my time on education policy. And I'll continue to work as hard as I can for our schools, our teachers, and the education system. That's why I proposed to the legislature the largest education budget in a decade, and the legislature fine-tuned it and adopted that. We were able to expand pre-K, provide a much-deserved pay raise for our teachers, and to start a new cyber technology engineering high school here in the Huntsville area. In my life, I've had an experience that makes me very unique, especially for a governor. I began my career as a teacher. Teachers show what a school can do and how successful a school can be. Teachers show the influence that an adult's influence in the classroom can have over the life of a child. Education is the cornerstone of a better life. And as your governor, I will continue to fight for open, honest, straightforward government. I will fight to bring more jobs to our great state. And I will continue to fight for protecting our conservative values, protect the unborn, defend life, protect our Second Amendment, protect our guns. And I'm pleased to let you know that I have been endorsed by the Susan B. Anthony list, Alabama Citizens for Life, and by the NRA. And all of this, I will always be sure that I maintain your trust. Alabama is better off and stronger today than it was a year ago. Let me put this whole upcoming election in a perspective that we can all identify with. The state of Alabama is looking for a head coach. I'm the only person applying for this position who's had experience coaching at this level. The state of Alabama has won every single game while I've been the head coach. You name it, economic development, unemployment, budgets, you name it. Now, if I hadn't been doing a good job, I wouldn't blame you for considering somebody else. But since I've been the head coach, we've made great strides and improvements in our state, and we're on the path for prosperity. So I ask you this: what search committee would ever consider someone for head coach who's never coached a single game at this level? I thank you for your time, and I humbly ask for your support, your prayers, and your vote on June 5 for Ivey for governor.